Yeah,
Yeah, so all
43.
you gotta do, you, start complaining about fatigue and, it's so hard to sleep,
Yeah,
and you go to your local, hormone or TRT doctor,
yeah,
and they say, "Perfect, sir. It sounds like you have low testosterone."
yep.
And, they'll just, give you as much as you ask for. So, and
Bam.
before you know it, 245, breaking every, 40 to 45-year-old record in powerlifting.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not I don't know about breaking records, but we'll try.
Yeah, yeah, that's all
I mean,
you're old
yeah,
enough to know Yoda says there is no try. We
yeah.
just
Oh,
do.
yeah, you're right. We'll give it a shot.
We
That's
just
a
do.
better. Nice.
So I always like to begin calls like this just to hear about your journey. I reread everything that you sent me, and it makes perfect sense. It's funny how a lot of these stories, especially people who are 40 and up that I work with, how their stories parallel my own,
Yeah,
and how we kind of came from, not the worst. There were a couple people whose their parenting situations were
yeah,
really bad, but I find also that a lot of us who were born in the 70s, it's not that we came from like broken homes or absolutely terrible parents, but it's just a way different time than it is now. Like now, pretty much everybody is forced to kind of just like, okay, I got to send my kids to daycare, and my wife and I, we got to go and work. And
yeah,
that's just the norm.
yeah,
Where when I was growing up, it's like my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and if my mom ever had something that she had to do, our grandmother would be with us, and she would just take us to
yeah,
the arcade, or we would play in her front yard, and like that's what we did, you
yeah,
know. My mom didn't really get into alcohol so much. My dad certainly did, and he struggled with alcoholism for 25 years before he ended up getting dementia and forgot that he wanted to drink alcohol, right?
yeah,
So, that led me to always be self-reliant. I was always like, "Okay, you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna go and do it."
yeah,
And as a result, um, it just led when the older that I got, the more injuries I got. Because
yeah,
it was like, okay, you're telling me that I can't Olympic weightlift. I'm gonna go and do Olympic weightlifting, and I'm just gonna get as strong as possible just to F you, you
yeah,
know? And then it's
yeah,
like, oh, you're saying that I can't run marathons or triathlons. That's what I'm gonna switch and go and do. And I ended up getting more injured doing marathons and triathlons than I ever did weight training.
yeah,
And it was all because my dad, he was always like, if you're not going to do what I want you to do, then I'm going to tell you that you're just not going to be good at everything else that you want to do.
yeah,
You know, so my dad wasn't a bad dude. My mom was amazing. My dad was never a bad guy. He was just so involved in himself and what he wanted. It was hard to see why anybody else wanted anything different. You
yeah,
know, so reading everything that you put down, I was like, yeah, kind of makes sense, even with the whole wife thing. And then like we need to understand, and I know that this might not make a lot of sense for the younger generation, but we need to understand that through our upbringing, we then attract everything that happens into our life up until this point. Okay.
yeah,
And I mean, I've even worked with people who didn't have a father growing up, and energetically, I started to become their father figure. And
yeah,
people that were older than me, I'm like, they're asking me for fatherly advice, and I'm like, "You're 52, I'm
yeah,
41. Like, how is this even happening?" And this is when I started to get into the energy of it all. Okay. And I promise this is going to make a lot of sense by the end of our session. And when you rewatch or re-listen to this, it's going to kind of start to put your mind and your body at ease. Okay. This isn't person to person that we're talking to right now. This is cell to cell and soul to soul. Okay.
yeah,
That's how deep this stuff is going to go. But my brother who does kind of like it's called emotion coding, like somatic healing and stuff like that. I would call him up and I'd be like, Nick, feeling really weird, like there's something going on. And he would get into the energetics of it all and he would contact me and be like, there's somebody who believes that, like, energetically you are their father figure. And I'm like, holy shit, like I know exactly
Yeah.
because this just happened.
Yeah.
And he's like, they attached an energetic cord to you and they're literally siphoning your energy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is insane. So he does a little bit of work. He cuts the cord energetically, and I can feel it within minutes.
Yeah.
Within minutes. So the reason why
Yeah.
I became so good at healing people and why I can do things on the massage table that a lot of other people cannot is because in human design, it's a parallel kind of to astrology, but in a different way. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm what's called a projector. So my aura will penetrate any other person's aura in the room. Even when I'm sleeping in bed next to my wife,
Yeah.
she's like siphoning energy from my aura. Okay. And there are other types of there are other energetic types in a human design that where they don't have that ability. They don't do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So for a very long time when I'm working with people, I would start to notice that, if I helped somebody who had liver issues later that day, I was sad, irritable, angry. I was going through all the
Yeah.
emotions that I just absorbed from that person. And I was like, why, how is this? I don't understand. How is this happening? And then I find human design. And as I started to dig more and more into these things, and I started working with more and more people that were exactly like me and having the same problems or issues that I was, more specifically around the adductors, back, glutes, hips, this area. What I ended up starting to realize is at a very early age, because I didn't have that support, I became my own support through that self reliance. So I
Yeah.
hear about you saying,
Yeah.
I love doing, I worked 5.5 years on Hickam Air Force Base and I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I was the guy who went and did every other shit job that nobody
Yeah.
else wanted to do, right?
Yep.
You need the wheel stops moved and all stacked up nice and neat. I'm going to go and move those 300-pound mofos
Yeah.
myself,
Yep.
and I loved it. At the end of the day, if I didn't feel exhausted, it didn't feel like I did anything, right?
Yeah.
And I got my fire from the lack of support, but in the process, I ended up wearing out my physical body,
Yeah.
along with that. And every job I had, it did not matter. Every single job I've had, I've burned myself out in it,
Yeah.
including the whole massage therapy bit. And that's why I'm now starting to work more with people online
Yeah.
because while it still does take energy, I'm not directly touching people, but
Yeah.
it's also the reason for the very specific questions that I ask because I need to get an understanding of where you've been and where you've been in order to get you where you want to go.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
I hear
go
you.
ahead and sound in on anything that I said. You also had mentioned that there were a lot of things that you've also done through my books that have helped you.
Yeah.
um
Like the lacrosse balls on just the
yeah.
going from the abs to the hip, uh, or yeah, the flexors, and then go all around the glute to the hamstrings. That sequence, that works really well. And
Okay.
it's just like you say, you wouldn't think to roll out your abs for your back, but then
Yeah.
you're rolling on the softball and it's like you stand up and it's like, holy shit, it's
Yeah.
gone. It's like, the whole connected it's, I would have never thought of that,
Yeah,
you know?
so we need to understand that the body works through this system of tensegrity, tension and integrity, right? And we need to look at, yes, the body does move in one piece, but because of this tension and integrity, these two pieces, if we have tension in the back, the body is
Yeah.
going to offset that through tension in the front.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And when we get this pressure and pressure, that equals compression. And then we start degrading discs or herniating discs, or we get bulging discs and things like that. That's a
Yeah.
whole different story. But one of the very first times I remember I was sitting down at like a dinner table and I was eating, and I'm just like, man, like I'm starting to get this pain in my abdomen and I don't really understand why that's there. And at the point at that point for me, it was like anytime I felt something, I would stick something in it.
Yeah.
you know, I
Yeah.
feel I feel like a little bit of a twinge in my calf, and even if I'm at the park or something like that, I got my foot up on a park bench and I'm just kind
Yeah.
of trying to grind it in the
Shoulder, just digging
yeah.
it into the mantle.
Yeah, and I would always be try to see or just feel wherever that sensation went. So I
Yeah.
got up and I had my softball with me and I just leaned over a couch and I put the softball on the wooden top part of the couch right before where the pad was. And I lean over and I start digging in there and I started to feel this sensation wrap around into my back. And I was like, "Man, this is really wild." I got
Yeah.
done, and just like you said, I stood up, and it felt like somebody squirted some WD-40 in my back.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, "What? How is this working out?" And
Yep.
now today we have things like the So Right and whatnot that, are just they're fantastic tools. They're not, no one tool I feel is the end all be all. The So Right, the So Back, I love both of those. They're phenomenal. They do a tremendous amount of things, but then there's things like the Back Buddy,
Yep.
where
Got that.
yeah, it does a much better job, especially on the traps, putting downward pressure, than the So Right. So I try to just I keep my core ones, three different size balls, my yoga block, my So Right, and then the Back Buddy. All of those, just you keep me and everybody else that I work with right. So, you were doing a bent over row, and
Yep.
you said
Well,
that.
Meadows. It was a Meadows roll,
Okay.
bro. So
Yep.
yeah, basically the same thing.
Okay. Were
Kind of
you
got loose.
a, a dumbbell or a barbell?
The barbell. So you put the barbell into the corner and lift the one side.
Yep.
So yeah,
Okay.
and then
So
just
kind of like a dumbbell, and that means that we're definitely twisting while we're lifting.
oh yeah,
So was it? You said that when the pain dissolved in your back, you started to get a lot more pain in the left hip.
yep,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Once
was it right side back that the pain occurred in, or was it left side?
no, it's left side, like on the ilium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so left side back pain,
Yep.
it dissolved, and then you had left hip pain as a
Yep.
result. All right.
Yeah.
You were doing the row with your left hand or your right hand?
My left.
So you're doing the row with your left
Yep.
hand. Okay. So this has a lot to do then from a spiritual perspective with everything on the feminine side in your life. Okay. I
Yep.
know that I think you said your mom slipped into alcoholism as well, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So that there's something around that we need to work on. We ended up attracting the wrong woman before we attracted the right. Okay.
Yep.
I did the same exact thing.
Yeah.
All right. I attracted the wrong woman before I attracted the right woman. And I tell everybody, divorcing my former wife, it was the best life and business decision I ever made
Yeah.
in my
My
life.
my blood pressure was through the roof when I was married, and I was afraid to go back to the doctors after my divorce because of it. They took my blood pressure and they're like, "All right, so it's 115 over 70." I'm like, "I guess divorce worked. Drop my
Yeah.
blood pressure right down."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It sure does. There's a lot of energetics behind that. But when we look at the human body, okay, on the left side of the human body, that is everything non-physical in this world,
Yep.
and it is the feminine side
All
of
right.
our spirituality.
That's usually right where shoulder. It's basically all left side almost.
Yeah, yeah,
Out of
and
it.
then on the right side, everything is the male perspective, more
Yep.
so right tucked in on the right side of the hip is going to be the father, okay, where the
Yeah.
father resides. But anything that's in our left hip is also going to be where our mother resides. More
Right.
often than not, guys like you, they come to me all with right side problems. It's all that male dominant energy. It's all that, daddy wasn't there to change my underwear,
Yeah.
all that
Um,
stuff.
Still
Okay.
have a little bit of right too
Okay.
issues. So
And then what ends up happening is they have big time right hip pain. And what Eileen McCusa calls it is the overworking hip of destiny. Okay.
yeah.
And I can't tell you that like that's where my pain started in my right hip when I was, gosh, I want to say like 7, 8 years old. I went to go kick a soccer ball. It was wet. My left foot slipped and I did the old Charlie Brown, but I kicked the ball.
Yeah.
Remember kicking the ball and I was in midair and it was kind of like a Bo Jackson moment. I felt my right hip go out, snap back in, and there was like this pop
Yeah.
when it happened, and I landed on my back, on my butt kind of, and I couldn't run for close to a month because of the pain that I had in my hip.
Yeah.
And it figures that, everything that was going on at that point with my dad and whatnot. I didn't have the support that I needed. So of course I'm going to manifest a problem with my right hip. And
Yeah.
then I went, like I said, football, strength conditioning, to then when I got out and I was doing physical therapy, and I was like, oh, forget physical therapy, dude. These people are so incredibly crooked. I got a
Yeah.
job on Hickam Air Force Base as a laborer and carpenter for 5.5 years. And like I said, I mean, I was just anything that was hard that nobody else wanted to do. I would raise my hand and
Yeah.
be like, I'll go and do it, man. I'll go and do it. And basically, what I was doing was again just feeding into that whole thing where, okay, like if nobody else is gonna do it, then and I'm not gonna have any support, then I'm gonna go and do it.
Yeah.
And I started getting right hip pain, and then it was left back pain, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the two things that we need to understand about the energetics, the sides of the body. And I'm doing that kind of as talking to a younger one of myself, because you're only 43 right now, where you keep on going in this direction. And if we're not loving to that hip, if we're not doing soft tissue work on the right side of the body and the hip as well, then by the time you're 50 you're going to have a bum right hip, that,
Yeah.
well, just from the overworking aspect and what you do. And you just got to have that in the back of your mind. You got to be cognizant of it. You said you own your own,
Construction.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, there are gonna be times now moving forward where you're gonna be like, "You know what? I think I'm gonna let my guys handle that."
Yeah.
I worked with a guy who had a landscaping business up in Ohio, and he said, "Hey, guys, we gotta move that stump, put it in the truck." And there were 3 guys standing around, and they're just kind of, like, looking at it, trying to talk about what they're gonna do and how they're gonna get it into the truck.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And he said that after like 5 minutes, he got so pissed off that he just walked over there, picked it up himself, and then threw it in the truck and was like, "Come on, let's go." And all the like his guys
Yeah.
were kind of like looking like, how the hell did he just do that? And he ended up calling me the next day and he's like, "Bro, I messed up my back so bad." So
Yeah.
it's that and guess where his dad is?
Where's that?
We don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, he grew up same thing, like a dad that wasn't there, a dad that didn't care, and he didn't want to come back into his life until he had a child. So he
Yeah.
had a child, and all of a sudden the dad's like, "Oh, hi, can I be your dad again? Can I be a
Yeah.
grandfather?"
Yeah. I think
And
when my sister died, that's when my dad really went in, holy
sure.
shit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally forgot about that. I remembered because I just read your email again, but that is also there's regret around that and what happened, asking,
Yeah.
"Hey, can we hang out?" And then the next day she's gone. And
Yeah.
that's all on the left side as well. So it that is also from an energetic perspective. Any of these wishes or wants or regrets or I shoulda, I coulda. Whenever we're dealing with time, that's not physical, right? That's
Yeah.
going to be way more on the energetic, spiritual side.
Yeah.
So there are some things there's something that I can send you after this, from an energetic standpoint, that's also going to help to work on our biofield. If you're not familiar with that, I've been talking about it a little bit here and there, but this is something that I've been working very deeply in ever since, I want to say, about 2020, 2021, right around there when I first started to find out about it. And it's more commonly called our aura. Okay.
Yeah.
Heart math is on to all the science about the heart and the magnetic field that's created by the heart. But there's also a bioelectric field that's created by us just being human beings.
Yeah.
And it's driven by scalar waves, it's driven by sound. And that information is what helps the physical body tune into specific frequencies that specifically help our autonomic nervous system.
Yeah.
It keeps the beating of our the rhythm of our heart. It keeps the breathing of our lungs. The workings of the mind and all the other organs, cells, just everything in the body. We think that it's encapsulated in our skin, but it's not. It's out here also in our bioelectric field. And
Yeah.
books like The Subtle Energy talk about how it can be hundreds and thousands of layers thick, and then it can also extend hundreds of feet outside of the body. So,
Yeah.
classically, with
Believe
Eileen
it.
and her biofield tuning, she talks about your biofield being 6 to 9 feet in every direction, including up and including down into the earth. And when you look at even maybe three people being in a 10-foot by 10-foot room, they could all be in corners and you're still going to be very closely blending these bioenergetic fields. Now you think about going to a club or going to a party, you know, and
Yeah.
you get everybody hyped up on drugs or alcohol, and you can see how something like that can turn, or how people can just feed off of that energy very easily, right?
Yeah.
So those are things that we need to be cognizant of as well. But more specifically, do you have your tools ready and things like that
I
for
got
today?
some stuff. What's like the balls and all that?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll get to some of that stuff in just a minute. But right now, if you have anything else that you need to reference or talk to me about, please go ahead and have at it.
You said pretty much everything. I believe in that aura stuff. I mean, people come up and talk to me all the time that, like, I joke with my kids because we'll be at any event and everybody will just come talk to me.
Yeah.
Don't even know me. And, black people come up to me just in the middle of the store, start talking to me. I look at my kid. Hey, nobody else is going to mend these fences. I guess I'm going to have to mend all the racial tensions in this country. And he just starts laughing.
Right, right.
It's like everybody talks to me. Some
Yeah.
guy was about to get in a fight at a bar, and I'm sitting there with my ex wife. All of a sudden, he's just yelling at a guy, and he's like, F this, I'm going to get my gun. He stands up, walks, stops right at me. He's like, you got my back. You have kind eyes. And then walks to his. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what the hell? But
Like,
yeah,
now
we
don't
hightailed it because
anything
he said he
bulletproof.
was getting his gun. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
Feeling bulletproof, man.
yeah,
Jeez.
yeah,
So,
it's crazy.
what I want to do real quick is just kind of assess your alignment. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
have you stand up, and just stand there completely normal, relaxed, and I want to check out where our shoulders
nice.
are sitting.
Yeah, let me see if I can't set this thing up. It is. That's fine. There we go.
All right, I'm gonna have to turn myself.
Oh,
So we
I
got
screwed
to
you.
me, it looks like we got a little bit of a high left shoulder.
Yep.
Simple turn around for me, and then bend over, touch your toes, and then come up real slowly. And from that way, you know what? We're both gonna go. Whoopsie. Hold on a second.
Oh,
I'm turning
gotcha.
my camera. This is hilarious. Okay. Go ahead and bend over again for me. I'm just gonna hold this thing. And then come up nice and slowly. Okay, yeah, that was much more normal. So when you did it the first time, it looked like you had a little bit of hypertonic right side instead of left side, which
Yep.
kind of threw me for a loop. But when you did it that time, you can very clearly see that left side is just a little bit more taut
Yep.
than the right.
Yeah.
Um,
And I've had some lady who I can put you back. She did she got certified by the anatomy trains
okay,
and
Thomas Myers.
yeah, she said my hips, my ilium, the front is above the back point. So it's just really all like,
Posteriorly rotated.
yeah, like pretty good or
Stand
bad.
stand up again for me and just turn to the side. And then turn to the side? Okay. Yeah. How do you have any excessive quad tightness when you squat down? Can you get below parallel?
Yeah, I can squat easy. I
Okay,
squat all the time. So
nice.
just
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, just not like squats to exercise, but I squat to sit all the
Okay.
time.
What about hamstring tightness? You're okay bending over, touching your toes, everything like that?
Yeah, that's a little more difficult, but it's not bad.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not bad at all. If we're not getting down anywhere close. So, I don't like it when people just point at one thing in the body and say, "Yeah, this is part of your pain," or "This is one of the reasons." I don't
Yeah.
like people talking about having too much of a posterior rotation or an anterior rotation unless if they're measuring it. Okay, was she physically measuring this for you?
No, I was just kind of looking at it and
Yeah,
feeling it.
eyeballing.
Yeah.
Okay, then I wouldn't really worry about it. If we're looking at hyperlordotic curve, anterior pelvic rotation, I think it's something like 32 to 35 degrees. Anything more than that, and we're in trouble. But you have to be measuring these things. You just can't look at people and say the
Yeah.
problem, because a majority of African American and even white guys, that play football or play sports, a lot of them, it's going to look like they have an anterior rotation of the pelvis, but it's just because they have big glutes, right?
Yep.
And strong back. And it's like, no, I don't have any pain in my back. Well, we can't just take a blanket characterization
Yeah.
off of looking with our eyes and say, yeah, this is why you have a problem. There's a lot of other things that we have to get into.
Yep.
So, starting first and foremost, we're going to get into that left trap.
All
And
right.
today, what we're going to do is we're just going to work straight down the left hand side for you.
All
So,
right.
let's say almost sit in that couch behind you. And the way that I like to work, okay, is this is the big circle for
Yep.
the book. This is the small circle. I put the big circle around my right leg, underneath my right leg. And then
Gotcha.
I put that circle up on my left trap. And
Yep.
now what I can do is I can lean back and I can actually use my
Just
leg, okay, in order to apply pressure down deeper into that trap. And I want you to start closer to the neck and then
yep.
drag that tissue. You can push down, and we're going to drag that tissue also down closer to where the trap is going to meet the shoulder. Okay. That is the Atlas reference point. right there that I have in my head, neck, and shoulder pain Bible, and
Yep.
it should be very tender on most people. And when you get this little knob in there, it's very good at referring pain back up into the neck, all the
Yep.
way to the outside of that C1 and even base of the skull. So if we're feeling that, we know that we're making an effectual change, and then we can work our way back up to the neck and work on relieving the tissue that we just sent the stimulus in to kind of alleviate and relax. And we're going to do this for about 2 to 3 minutes. Work your way, walk your way down. You see how I keep on moving the stick
Yep.
down to my shoulder, all along that trap. And then I move it back up all the way to my neck. And I
Oh yeah.
look for anything that's tight, tender, or sore, anything that is hard, lumpy, bumpy, that doesn't necessarily feel like it should be there.
Yep.
You
Oh
finding
yeah.
any stuff in there that's
Oh yeah. Right. Basically where you're saying the atlas is. Definitely really bumpy and tight and kind of clicky
yep.
rolling over it.
We find something that's tight or tender, and if we're pinning it down, what do we want to do? We want to hold that spot and then we breathe. Big deep breaths through the nose, exhale through the mouth. This helps stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, warming the air into our nostrils, into our body, increasing nitric oxide production, all that stuff. We can breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, but we do not want to be taking giant panic breaths through the mouth while we're doing this. So I also got to ask, man, how kind of infamous was it growing up having the name Bo Jackson?
Well, yeah. I wasn't exactly an athlete, so it was everybody knew me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, it's I've been my real name is Alex, but I've been called Bo since the day I was born.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I was
Really?
yeah, it was actually before Bo Jackson was really famous. I was named after Bo Duke.
Oh, okay.
And all of a sudden Bo Jackson came, and I've gotten pretty much everybody's "You look a lot whiter in person."
Yeah.
I actually had Pete Rose. I saw him at the Las Vegas, and I shook his hand. He's like, "What's your name, son?" I'm like, "Bo Jackson." He's like, "A lot whiter than I remember." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yep."
One of the other things you can do, Bo, when you're pinning that tissue down, we want to
Yep.
tilt our head in the opposite direction. You can even get a little bit of a rotation too with it. Okay. But we're stretching that fascia, getting it to release its grip neurologically
Yeah.
on the trap muscle. We're looking to create space all along this line so it stops grabbing on and tugging that C1, that atlanto-occipital joint. Now we can do one of two things. We're actually going to do them both just just for effect. I take the small uh bend in the back buddy now, and we're going to put it the sharp point is gonna go at the, kind of bottom of the trap
Yep.
now, okay? And then we wanna work straight down in between the shoulder blade and the spine, a as low as we can get it. And we're just gonna keep on working that tissue out. This is all gonna be relative. The lady that you worked with doing the anatomy trains, did she measure your legs? Is one leg longer than the other?
No, she didn't do any of that,
Wow.
which yeah, I told her, I'm like, "I think my hips are kinda conky." Well, not too much, but
Yeah.
that's what I was kinda thinking, one leg was longer than the other, but she just looked at it and then did some maneuvers on my hips.
How did that feel?
Felt pretty good. I mean, it was essentially the same as using a lacrosse ball,
Oh, okay.
so it was nothing special. And she said she had time at the beginning of the year to start the 12-week whatever anatomy train, structural, forget what it's called, but or
Oh,
12
okay,
C.
so she has a 12-week program?
Yeah.
Very interesting. I didn't know Thomas Myers certified people in that. I just read the book. I firmly believe in it. I don't think that is the end all be all of any type of structural integration or
Yeah.
whatnot, but in certain cases, it has helped. In other cases, it I didn't have to go that deep into the body's structure in order to change things and help
Yeah.
me heal.
Yeah, I ordered that book, so
Anatomy train?
yeah, check it out. Ordered all your books.
Thank you. I
Have
appreciate
a
that.
look-see. I mean, yeah, I've had the purple one, so that's where I learned all the
Okay, yeah,
sequence.
the ultimate guide.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can go ahead and toss that off to the side. We're not going to use it anymore. And then what you're going to do is go ahead and get your lacrosse ball, and we're going to work all up and down that left side shoulder where we just were.
Yep.
And this time we're going to introduce a little bit of movement. So go ahead and find any tight, tender, or sore tissue. And you're going to move the arm up, down, all around. You can pull it off to the side too, like I have it here. So you can get the lacrosse ball essentially underneath that shoulder blade where just a lot of junk likes to accumulate, especially for women because women hold everything. They're so heart centered. I see so many women that, they have head, neck, jaw pain, shoulder pain,
Yep.
things like that. And the body has just a massive tendency for women to hold a lot of emotional energy underneath the shoulder blade. And then that will correspond to the shoulders then fighting that tightness and becoming rounded and the body's energetically the whole body is just trying to curl up and protect itself.
Yep.
But even for men, a lot of junk back there, especially if we lift weights, especially if we're active.
Yeah, I've had pain in this left shoulder since I was about 18.
Since you were
I
when?
About 18, I
18.
pulled something and just been a knot.
Where in back here?
Yeah, basically like the rhomboid
Okay.
area.
How often do you work on trying to dissolve it?
Quite a bit. I do it while I'm driving everywhere I go.
Okay. Are you making any
Toss a li
headway or no?
What's that?
Are you making any headway or no?
Yeah, it's definitely getting better.
Okay. So here's one of the ways that anatomy trains comes into play. If you look at the superficial back arm line, it starts with the rhomboid, goes into the infraspinatus, goes into the tricep tendon, actually, tricep, and then down into your forearm musculature. So if we're not getting the resolution at that shoulder blade that we would like to, when we're rolling on it, if we're constantly rolling on it and things aren't moving, that's
Yeah.
when we start to explore this, micro connection that Thomas Myers
Huh.
has found. So then we would kind of roll off to the side and get onto that infraspinatus. The infraspinatus muscle is a rotator cuff that's right on the back facing portion of your shoulder blade. Okay, that guy
Yeah.
can be quite gnarly. And if it's really tight and causing a lot of problems, bench pressing, push ups, anything in the front plane, okay, will cause a stabbing sensation in the front part of that shoulder. And when it gets worse, it
Yeah.
will actually start to materialize as an adhesion down the entire front side portion of the arm. Okay, it's
Yeah.
actually like right here. You'll just have a really matted down, almost kind of like leathery feel to the tissue, and it'll go all the way down to the elbow. Um, so that's a very unique pain pattern that I've found for the infraspinatus. But you want to
Yeah.
get onto that infraspinatus, roll that guy out, and then we would get on to the tricep here. You can also work on the tricep up against the wall,
Yeah.
but you're working on the entire line, okay, in order to get probably that lump in your rhomboid to calm down faster than it is
Yeah.
right now. Okay. And then from here, we also have the opportunity to get into the forearm. Yes, it does present a good way in order to work on it. There's a decent amount of pressure. But what I like to do is I actually like to get up against the wall right here. So then I can apply deeper pressure into that forearm. Okay.
All right.
Like this with the ball up against the wall. Okay. And your whole that's the whole paradigm right there
Yeah.
for
Oh,
your for your left rhomboid shoulder into the arm.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll have
Uh
to hit that more.
so what's that?
I'll have to hit that more because when I hit that infraspinatus, it was like you said, a stabbing in my front shoulder.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sure. That happened right now.
Yep.
That
Just
guy's
like you
really
said.
Yeah, that guy's really active then. So I
Yeah.
would highly recommend actually then doing it up against the wall
All
instead of
right.
keeping it on the ground. Up against the wall, you're gonna have a little bit better leverage, a little bit better of an angle. And
Push into it.
yep, yep. It's very simple. Sometimes it'll seem a little bit more complex. I'm gonna put this over here, but all you're gonna do, I take it with the ball with my right hand. You're going to use your left hand in order to pull your right arm over a little bit more. I'm going to put
Yep.
the ball up against the wall on my shoulder blade, and here I am right here. And now I can pin it down and start doing all of this stuff. Okay,
Yep.
get into the teres minor and major. Those guys are crossing on top and underneath the tricep. All right. And from this position here, I can work on all of this stuff and then also pin the tissue down, force it to move. And people will actually get a lot of pops, cracks in the shoulder. They'll get pops and cracks at the elbow and the wrist and things like that. And that's how we know that we're creating
That line.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we know we're creating space, which is very, very important when we're trying to get rid of pain. Do you have something along the lines of a baseball or softball now?
Yeah. Right now I have this thing, which is
That's
kind of like,
perfect. That's
yeah.
perfect. We're gonna go ahead left side back, and we're gonna lay back and get it really from our hip to right up around the mid back area.
All
So
right.
they're gonna come up right here, and let's roll into that left side back. We can go side to side. We can go up and down, or we could really just sit there. And then one of the things that I like to do is just cross one leg over the other. My left leg goes over my right leg in this position right here. So you're getting a very tiny glute stretch, depending on your mobility.
Yeah.
And we just want to apply pressure to that tissue and breathe. We're going to do this for about 2, 3 more minutes. And then we're going to get into that pesky hip for you.
Oh, yeah. So that frequency thing really helped the sore throat, huh?
Yes, it absolutely did. I've been using, so I bought it's called an IC pad, Infoceutical pad. Okay, I bought that
Yeah.
in 2018, and it sat in my drawer for 2 years, 3 years almost. Okay. And then COVID comes around, right? And everybody's freaking out, talking about vaccines and everything like this. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I don't need to reinstate what
Yeah.
occurred, right? But there were already frequencies on that platform for it.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of other things, quercetin, vitamin C, apigenin. Okay. There's frequencies for ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine,
It's crazy.
zithromycin. I mean, all the antibiotics, everything like that. And Bo, like when I tell you the miraculousness of that device, there are some case studies and happenings even with my children, my dog, okay, my wife, where with the internet kind of being, especially places like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, being like the literal dumpster fire of
Yeah.
the literal dumpster fire of non-believers and antagonists, right? If I were to tell some of these stories about what this frequency device did um,
Yeah.
to the human body, people would just be like, "That's bi." I'd have a string of just garbage underneath.
Yeah.
So I don't really share too much of it right now with the outside world. I'm getting to it. I'm building up to it. So
Yeah.
people will slowly start You can't just go from level 1 to level 5,
Yeah.
because because it's not in the shape of a pill or the form of a shot, or, some type of something that people can touch.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for people to believe. But that's when I first realized the power of this thing. And now anything that happens with my family, my daughters, anybody, even a lot of my clients that are kind of in my inner circle and whatnot, they all cannot believe the power of that thing. And it really helps you turn into being your own best doctor,
Yeah.
and the powers that be, they don't want people taking care of their health. But
Yeah.
I have an entire presentation, a master class where I show people how anything chemical in the body, like that's the lowest hanging fruit. And what does it do? It provides addiction or dependency. You need to keep
Yep.
on taking it to get the same feeling. Where
Yeah.
when you have something that you're working with in the body from an energetic or frequency standpoint, when you tune your car radio to 98.5 and that country music is playing without any static, you leave it alone.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep tinkering with it, going, "Oh, I think I got it or I don't." There's no antidote to the dependency that caused that you now have to take. The frequency is
Yep.
there. The sound is coming through completely normal. You don't touch it. You don't do
Yeah.
anything with it. Okay.
Yep.
So when your body finally adapts to the frequency, and there's two different ways. There's the IC Hummer, and then which you saw was on my daughter's throat, and then the IC pad, which I've shown many times on my Instagram. Um, when the body finally adapts the missing frequency, there's nothing left to do.
Yeah.
So my daughter today, yes, she's still coughing a little bit, like massive amounts of phlegm coming
Yeah.
out. This is the third day that she's had it. Massive amounts of phlegm coming out. Her voice sounds a little bit more normal today. It's still a little bit hoarse. We did the IC again one more time this morning, the IC Hummer. But I even asked her at like 11:30 before I was hopping on the call. I was like, "Baby, how's your throat?" And she's like, "Way better, daddy. And there's no pain."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still there. There's still something going on. No pain, lots of phlegm. The bacteria is dying off because what it is they invert the frequency of the Streptococcus mutans um, virus.
Yep.
Okay. They invert that frequency and it instantly causes the virus, the bacteria to explode.
Huh.
It's a mirror resonance is
Yep.
what what it's called. Okay.
Got
And
it. Yep.
when it's kind of like oh what movie was it? Back to the Future,
Yep.
where he's like, whatever you do, like, do not interact with the Marty of right now.
Yeah.
It's like you'll explode the time continuum or something.
Yeah. Yep. Be
Like
gone.
all these movies, everything like that, it's all foreshadowing for what is going to happen in our future,
Yeah.
and
Oh
whatnot.
yeah.
Um, and I mean, you can see that how it's playing out right now. Go
Oh
ahead and
yeah.
grab the lacrosse ball again, and we're going to start off working on the glute max and that glute medius. So we're going to run that lacrosse ball right on the edge, the bottom edge of our hip bone right now. And then you can also do something like this as well, where you're putting that left leg up on the right knee. Get a little bit more pressure. The glute is a little bit more stretched out.
Yep.
Okay. And we want to work our way down along the tailbone, the coccyx as well. Okay. To see if there's anything stuck along there, because there are some trigger points in that area that will send pain and problems up into the back, especially if that tailbone isn't moving very well, if we ever fell hard on it.
Yep.
So I've used the IC Hummer for a multitude of different things. And it's very interesting because what you'll notice is you'll feel better for several hours. And
Yep.
then energetically, whatever's going on in your body, it starts to kind of take hold again. And they even say on the platform, we don't recommend doing several different frequencies along the day. Just pick one frequency that works for you, that you feel a difference from, and use it approximately 2 to 3 times throughout the day. Okay. And I mean, there was a time, this is 20 October 2023, where, all these different strains are coming out and everything like that. And we were traveling to Kauai. We were going to Kauai, in the one of the islands in Hawaii. And my wife ended up contracting something a couple days later. We obviously, from, being on the plane, whatever. And she was like, I just don't feel good. I'm like, okay, we'll just chill at home today. So it's maybe around like 9, 10 o'clock. She comes upstairs. She was hanging out downstairs. She's like, babe, I just want to let you know, like, I'm not doing okay. Well, what
Yeah.
frequencies have you been doing? I've been doing this, this, and this. I said, okay, let's try the ivermectin hydroxychloroquine frequency. She charged her water with it, drank it, and she's like, I'm gonna go back downstairs and rest. I'm like, okay. Went down there, kind of tucked her in, and she fell asleep for 2 hours. But she woke up, she came upstairs and she's like, babe, I'm like 90% better.
That's
And
crazy.
all you have to do, you have to find the frequency that's going to annihilate the frequency that's messing with you.
Yep.
Once you find it and use it, you're gonna get better almost instantaneously. Or what would take drugs or shots 6 weeks to 3 months in order to kind of balance out, it happens in days. It'll happen in a day, maybe three, something like that. I get a cold, I get a sore throat, but it's gone in 1 to 3 days. I'm training the next day as if
Yep.
nothing happened, stuff like that. And this to me, it's just a giant disruptor. Um, the more people that find, they have over 4,000 frequencies on this platform, Bo.
Really?
Yep.
That the
All
one
of
you
your all of your favorite drugs, your statins, everything like that. The peptides, you name it, man. You name it. They are taking it all. They are stripping the frequencies from the physical product, and they are tuning those frequencies into the Hummer, into the IC pad in the form of electronic information. And you either apply it to your body, listen to it, or you're going to charge your water with it and drink it. And that frequency dissipates through your body and tunes, whatever's being mistuned energetically, and you're fine. You're fine.
yeah, I think you mentioned it on one of your videos when you're working with a guy. I checked him out. I'm pretty sure it was the one you're talking about. What's
Okay.
the website?
What's that?
What's the website?
Infopathy.com.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I went on that website after I heard you say something,
Yeah.
and they have 2 frequency machines or
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
I really like them both. They came out with a new IC pad. I think it's version 3. Um, Whenever you're ready, Bo, we're gonna go ahead and get on that glute minimus. So we're gonna go over on the side here
Yep.
and get the ball on that left glute min. So their IC pad, the version 3 IC pad, they have several different forms of light now. They have red light, they have blue light, and they have infrared light that you cannot see. And then you have the chance to have all three of those lights too, where whenever you are when you're using it. So you can, if you just want blue light from a PEMF, you can use that. If you just want red light, if you just want infrared, then you can choose those. Or if you want all three of them, you can choose that as well. I typically work my way between all three of them and then red. If I'm applying it to my body, I'll just do the red light. If I'm charging my water or some type of fruit juice or something with it, I will then do all three lights. Um, just because
Yeah.
that's what I found to be the best
Yep.
way. But
Broad
a lot of people,
spectrum.
what's that?
Broad spectrum
Yeah,
lights.
yeah. A lot of people don't understand that water holds information. People don't understand that. And it the easiest way that I could help people understand what is the body, it's 80 to 85% water, right? Do you believe that there's information in your body? Has to be.
Yeah,
There
of
has to be
course.
information in your body or else we'd be dead. You'd be inert. You would be a rock or a pile of dirt. That's what
Yep.
you would be. So we know there's cellular information. We know that there's information dictated by the heart and the lungs and the brain and so on and so forth. So if water is encapsulated in all these structures, it has to be a transport for information as well. So ingeniously, the people of infopathy have created this platform where they use electronic information to, and they use light. They use that electronic information, they turn it into light, and that light passes through the water, and the water holds on to that information. And then you drink the water and it gets assimilated into your body.
Hmm.
I can guarantee you that there's probably some people watching this right now that have even gotten to the point where they're like, yeah, right.
Yeah, no
So
kidding.
that's totally fine. You got to meet people where they're at
Yeah.
in their health journey or even in their spiritual journey. And to borrow a line from uh, Dr. Bruce Lipton in his book called Biology of Belief, you can't manifest anything in your life if you don't believe it. You
Yep.
sit there and say, I'm going to be a millionaire by the end of 2025. Well, you're unemployed,
Yep.
right?
It's gonna be
So
hard.
are you going to win the lottery? Yeah, that could be an option. Do you believe that you're going to win the lottery? Do you feel it in your heart? No.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it's not going to happen. So if people don't believe in this spiritual aspect of the human body or in the frequency aspect of the human body, then they can buy it and use it, but it's not going to work on them. And then they're just going to say, "Yeah, look, it's all BS. This is all BS." But if you buy it and you believe in it and you use it, your body's going to respond. So that's
Yeah.
that last little piece. There's a lot of people that think all this mobility stuff is BS, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to help you. You have to
Yeah.
find another way. But if you believe that it'll help you, then sure, we can hop on a call and I guarantee you it'll help you, you know?
Yeah.
Stand up, move around and tell me what you feel and where you feel it. If things are a little bit more fluid, if things expand a little bit better.
Yeah. Things are feeling pretty good.
So the last piece that we're going to do, I want you to find a doorway.
Right.
And I like to do, whenever we worked an entire line like that, I like to do what's called a doorway stretch.
Yep.
Are you familiar with it?
I'm sure.
Okay. So I'm here, my right arm, I'm grabbing the inside of the
Yep.
door frame, okay? From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put my right leg over my left, and then now I'm going to reach in. My left arm is completely straight. I'm going to reach over and grab the door frame with my left arm, okay? And now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna walk my hands down that left down the door frame, and I'm gonna continuously push my hip out the further down that I get, and that way I'm stretching that entire left side of our fascial plane and fascial body, sticking that hip out as far as we can get, and areas where I feel kind of like a sticking or a tightness, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna breathe 3, 6, or 9 times. Nice big deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, or in through the nose and out through the nose. And you want to breathe into the tight corner of the tissue. Whenever you feel like things are starting to relax and release, we can come out of that stretch, and then we're
Nice.
going to move.
Feels good.
Then another piece that we can do for that glute that I'm just remembering, have you done the 75, 90, and 120 stretch?
Yeah, it's rough, but
Yeah. Okay. So you can go ahead, just because I typically like to only run these about an hour. I know that I was doing a lot of talking.
yeah,
Um so we'll wrap it up right now, and when we get off the call, you can go ahead and do that stretch
yeah,
yourself, um
perfect.
in all three of those planes.
Yep,
um so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.
yep,
It was great working with you as always. Thanks for being here, and
yeah,
anybody else out there that needs help, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.